Welcome to Financial Education Nation. I'm here with Paul. How you doing again, Paul?
Hi, Warren. I'm good, thanks. You well?
Very good. Yeah, lovely, lovely, lovely. Really look forward to speaking to you today. And what do you have for me? What question do you have?
So you talk about insurances, and one of those is private medical insurance that you discuss on the foundations in the money plan.
Yeah.
Now, we're lucky. We live in a country, we're incredibly lucky. We live in a country with a wonderful NHS, which is under a lot of pressure, but takes care of most of us. So why is private medical insurance a consideration? Why would we want to use that?
Cool. And I think you chose the right words there. It's a consideration. Okay. So going back to the money plan, the 5 steps, we're now looking at step 3. So know what your outcome is, get financially well organized, and then secure your financial foundations. Your financial foundations, there's 8 of them, 3 essential, and this is one of the 5 optional ones. And it's private medical insurance. And I ask you not to even consider this until your unsecured debt has been repaid. So we're now really talking to someone when we talk about medical insurance who is sorted out their basics, okay, and has no unsecured debt. And we're now saying, okay, so you've got a little bit of money surplus. Would you like to consider this? And I think one of the reasons we ask people to consider it is because if you run your own business, getting medical treatment quickly and swiftly and being able to get back to work is very detrimental to you earning money. And it's a consideration, and it's a way up, and it's a personal choice, because I have some clients who are very wealthy who say, no, the NHS has always served me fine. I'm very happy to remain with the NHS. And I support that 100%. But on the flip side, there are people who say, well, actually, do you know what? It's not a luxury for me. It's more of a necessity. And I'm going to make sure my excess is as high as possible. But if I do need to have private treatment, I can just jump in and go and get it.
Okay. So where do you begin? How do you start thinking about private medical insurance? There's a lot of companies out there. Bupa was always the big name when I was growing up, but there's lots of these now, right?
It's and to be fair, most of them cover the same thing. So if I go through the claim process and how private medical insurance works, that might give you a better understanding.
Yeah.
So step 1 is, well, I guess there's 2 directions into a hospital, if it were, because private medical insurance treats you, generally speaking, with hospital treatments. There are some outpatient treatments, but generally speaking, in hospital treatments, there are 2 routes to a hospital: via your GP or via A&E. Okay, so let's look at the GP route. You go to your NHS GP, you talk to your NHS GP about your conditions, and they might say, well, look, you need further investigation or you need an operation. They will then make a referral. They can either make you a referral to the NHS or make you a referral to a private consultant. It's at that stage you say to them, I have private medical insurance, can I get referred to a private consultant? Generally speaking, the waiting time, and this is the sad part, the waiting time goes from weeks to days. So you might be 6, 8, 12 weeks. It does vary. I do appreciate on the conditions that you've got. Sometimes if it's very, very urgent, the NHS is amazing, gets you in very, very quickly. But with a private policy, you will often see the same or very similarly qualified consultant, because they work generally in both sectors, within a matter of days, often within a week or 10 days. This time of year being holiday season, they're often on holiday, enjoying themselves, but you get in to see them a lot quicker. So that's the GP route into the hospital. The alternative route is through A&E. So you have an accident, you refer yourself, you go straight into A&E, you get stabilized, and then you either go into an NHS ward or room, or you go into the private ward or room. And that's the second route in there. And it's at that stage, once you're stable, either you or your guardians, I guess, your family members, would tell the hospital that actually we have private medical and we can get referred that way. That's the 2 routes into the private practice.
Okay, and are there things that we should be looking out for if we're looking to take out private medical insurance? Kind of, where do you start, and what should I be looking for?
Okay, so I think I would probably say with all insurances, and there might be an exception, but pretty much with all insurance, there's generally an excess. So that means when you place a claim on your policy, you pay the first amount of money. Okay, it's like your car insurance or your home insurance. And what I would say to you is put your excesses at higher level that is financially comfortable for you. Now, if you've gone through the stages and you've done your emergency reserve, you've got your emergency cash in place, you can have a little bit of money behind you anyway. So often having an excess of at least £250 enables you to bring the premium down. because what we want to do is make sure the premium's down as low as possible. And then what I would say to you is actually claim on it for essential purposes only. Don't claim on it for any whim, because the policy renews every year. It's an annual policy, and every year you'll probably find, most years you'll find the premium increase due to your age. So they have age bandings, generally in about 5 or 7 year groups. So every time you click into a new age band, the premium will increase. But also it will work on your claims history as well, and also on the cost of providing treatment to everyone. So this is an annual renewable policy. It's going to go up anyway. It's going to go up due to costs. It's going to go up due to your age. And the more you claim, there's a claims ratio that the insurer looks at, the more it's going to go up. So it can start off very inexpensive. And if you start claiming for any minor treatment, it's going to start escalating very quickly.
Okay, and where do we go to find it? Do I just put some stuff into Google and just start looking around? What?
It's a tricky one. I would say I'm not aware of an online search facility that compares all the different providers. You're absolutely right, some of the bigger names, the likes of Bupa, the likes of Vitality, are some of the better policies out there on the market. And the reason we define them as better is their breadth of cover. What they cover is wider. So you'll find that not only when you claim on a policy, there are two sort of sides to it. There are inpatient cover. That is defined as the cover you get whilst you're in a hospital. You're in a hospital, you're an inpatient, and your outpatient cover. So you're out of the hospital, you're a day release, as it were. You go to hospital daily, or you go to another facility, for example, physio, that kind of thing. So there's treatment there. So I think really it's an internet search. Maybe go and see a good financial advisor or an insurance broker who has access to the whole of the market or the majority of the market, who can do a comparison. What might be a good idea is, with this article, if I run a research document on our in-house software and maybe post it with the article, so you have the two things together, so people can see what things are going, and use that for information. If you go through and think, oh, I quite like that, then inquire with the insurer directly or give us a call and see if you can get any further information.
Okay, great. So I think overall, because I think that gives us a nice kind of overview, but I think for me the biggest takeaway there was this isn't just for the wealthy, which I guess is kind of the stereotype of what it is. Your point about the self-employed is very salient.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a consideration. It's a choice one. It's not high up on my list of priorities. You've got, obviously, I write on about the wills and the emergency cash and the power of attorneys. But when you've done those things and you're progressing through your 5 steps, it's the insurance that's available to you. And for some people, the thought that they can go and get a treatment, or they can go and get an investigation or a consultation rapidly and quickly, is very reassuring. And there are lots of insurers out there. I'll run the research so you have something to go with this. And obviously that will become dated over time. So if you're viewing this video in years to come, after August 2018, then be careful in what you're doing. But use it as a point of reference, not as an absolute. So when you go to those insurers, do your own due diligence, do your own research, or take it to an insurer, to a broker or someone like ourselves, and then we can give you the lowdown.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Good to speak to you.
Andy.
Take care. Bye-bye.